everyone, welcome to Ask Mr. Elrod, the video series where you ask and I answer life's toughest questions. The question today comes from my lovely mother-in-law, who is one of the few people who actually watches my videos on a regular basis. So thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you watching and sending in a question. And Dad, thanks to you too. I know that you watched some of my videos and you wanted me to give you a shout out on my previous one. So there you go. Dad, thank you also for watching. So today's question, which comes to us from my mother-in-law, is, do you prefer fiction or non-fiction books? Now, one of the first things that I have to do often when I get these questions is, which direction am I going to take? Am I going to be a straight shooter, going to be honest and open with you, or am I going to give the more politically correct answer so that people don't become offended and upset? Well, my personal motto in life is to make sure I offend at least one person a day. So here we go. When I was a child, I enjoyed the things of a child. So when I was a child, I enjoyed fiction books. I read all kinds of fiction books. Some of my favorite authors were Roald Dahl. I love Roald Dahl. In fact, he wrote a lot of great books that have been turned into movies. Did you know that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a book before it was a movie? Matilda was a book before it was a movie. In fact, the book is far superior to the movie. And the movie totally misrepresents what Matilda is able to do with her powers. In the book, Matilda could barely hold a piece of chalk for a couple of minutes. It really made me angry when I see these carrots just kind of flying around willy-nilly. It's just absolutely absurd. Roald Dahl, I love Roald Dahl. John Grisham, great writer. His endings, though, John, you really need to work on those endings, man. Michael Crichton, really enjoy Michael Crichton, the Jurassic Park series, things like that. Up until maybe like the third Jurassic Park, that was getting a little bit weird. Brian Jacques, probably one of my other favorite fiction authors when I was a kid. So Brian Jacques, the Redwall series, that was fantastic. The Goosebumps, I had probably almost all of the original Goosebump books, not when he got off into whatever 100 and on down the line of Goosebumps. So most of the original Goosebumps series I had. So I really enjoyed reading as a child, and I still enjoy reading. But my tastes have changed. I am now more into some of the non-fiction, more into non-fiction writing. This new trend of adults reading young adult novels, kind of concerning to me, that we have a collection of novels for young adults, and we have adults reading young adults novels. Kind of concerning to me about where we're going as a society. Think, young adult novels are, they're like cake, right? They taste good, not very filling all the time. So in small portions, they're okay. But if that's all that you're eating, probably not going to be very good for you. You're going to need to go exercise, going to need to go to the dentist a little bit more often. So we can't eat cake all the time, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, non-fiction. I am a history teacher, so I like to read things within, certain, there are particular people and periods that interest me a little bit more than others. Some of the books that I've read here within the recent past, this is an excellent one, How the Scots Invented the Modern World. It's about the Scottish during the Enlightenment period. The Memoir. I love the Memoir on certain occasions. This one is probably one of the best ones I've read in a long time. It's called The Aquarium of Pyongyang. It's about a child who finds themselves in kind of the midst of the overthrow of the Korean government, the establishment of the communist regime in North Korea. This one, Ordinary Men. This is a part of a current historical debate that's going on about how why it is that the German people went along with the Nazi persecution of various peoples, and so of course there's varying historical interpretations of that, and so this is a pretty lively debate that is going on right now. We all know that John Green loves the Mongols. This is a fantastic narrative writing of Genghis Khan and the empire that he established, so I highly recommend that one. This is one that I have my European history students read, In Defense of History, talking about how do we do the work of history, and can we find truth within history and things along those lines. Establishment of the idea of truth. Okay, I love Malcolm Gladwell. Anything Malcolm Gladwell. I love Thomas Sowell. I've done a couple of book reviews of Thomas Sowell. Can't remember the guy's first name. Duhigg wrote the book called The Power of Habit. Reminds me very much of Freakonomics. All those are great books. Another memoir, Son of the Revolution, dealing with the communist, the cultural revolution within China and the experiences there. Really good for those of you who are some Bernie Sanders supporters. Might recommend you pick this one up. This is one of the few non-fictions, one of the few fictions that I have read here recently. It's called Journey Through the Night, a book about a family in the Netherlands with the Nazi occupation during World War II. It was pretty interesting, a little slow at times, written by a Dutch author, so that makes it a little bit different. I'm sure the translation maybe has an impact there. Basic Economics, did the book review on that. Fantastic. Thomas Sowell, excellent. Easy to understand ideas of basic economic concepts. Prisoners of Geography. This is an excellent one. Obviously, I teach geography, so this one was really interesting. My students are doing this for a summer assignment. They're reading this particular book. Alexander Hamilton, one of my early interests in American history. Certainly a very interesting case study as an individual, able to overcome lots of things within early American history, prejudices and things along those lines. I was really sad when I heard that they were going to take Alexander Hamilton off the $10 bill. I figure that Andrew Jackson's probably a better choice of taking someone. If we're going to take someone who wasn't very nice off of money, Andrew Jackson would probably be a better pick. So this particular biography by Ron Chernow is pretty good on Alexander Hamilton. In fact, but if you really like Alexander Hamilton, Duel is a much better book in my opinion for Alexander Hamilton. I believe that one's at home. I don't think I have that one here with me. A History of Modern Europe by John Merriman. I teach European history, so I'm brushing up on some things, reading through this a little bit. I prefer John Merriman to pretty much all of the other textbooks for European history. Writes, very narrative history, easy to understand, easy to read, great stuff. My brother bought me this one. I'm not really sure why. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm not sure if he's trying to say something to me. So reading through this one as well. I'm Christian, so I read I try to read books that are going to pertain to my faith. I just recently read Cat and Dog Theology. I am currently reading A Case for Faith by Lee Strobel. Reading to me is very important, and so I actually I carve out specific times to read. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and a part of my morning every morning is reading my Bible, and then I also read a book while I'm eating breakfast, and then I try to, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. After we have put the children to bed, my wife and I try to read within that time, and so I try to carve out this time. Reading, super important, especially if we're going to try and come to grips and understanding of the things that are going on in the world. I would highly recommend, if you are an adult, or if you would like to be an adult at some point in your life, that maybe you move on to some of the nonfiction, you begin educating yourself on some issues and topics, whether that's just reading the news, picking up some interesting things by a person like a Malcolm Gladwell, a person like a Thomas Sowell, so that you can get some various ideas on current events, past events, those types of things. So, there's the question. That is my answer. I am an adult. I prefer the things that make me think as an adult. And sometimes we can enjoy cake too. That's okay. It's okay to enjoy cake. So, I hope, well, I don't really care if you like the answer or not, but that's the answer that I'm giving you. Had lots of suggestions there for books. If you have some favorite book titles, you might share those with me. And that is that. Thanks for watching.